So as you know, Java E6 has made development much simpler with less code to write, less Java classes, less lines of code, and XML optional almost everywhere. It has also made Java E development more powerful with enhanced features as new APIs such as RESTful web services and unified injection. In this application, this web application that is running in a GlassFish server, we will be able to store book information. So I'm typing here the name of a book with a description, a number of pages, a tag, which I'll set to strategy, and the English code will be EN for English. And I will create a book. And if we scroll down, we should be able to see the new book that has been created. And it's probably the last one in the list here. Yes, there it is. Now, the next thing I can do in this small application is the typical shopping cart where I add different books that I want to buy to my session. And eventually, I will click on checkout. And the books have disappeared because I have bought them and I've cleared my session. Now, if we look at the code, we see three simple classes to deal with the JPA entity, an EJB, which is really simple, which is annotated with add stateless, just one file, can't get simpler than that, but which is also a RESTful resource by virtue of using the add path annotation. This means that you'll be able to not only, because it's an EJB, deal with a persistent context and have very easy communication with the database, but also answer to post and get requests as we see them to create and delete books and list books. Now, using that EJB is as simple as injecting it using the @inject annotation, which is part of CDI, another new feature in Java E6. And the whole application is a web app with no web.xml, which has been made optional. So this is all running in GlassFish 3.0, and this is the admin console in simplified Chinese. And as you can see, there's this is a single instance version of GlassFish. And it's quite a nice UI, but at the same time, there are a number of features that are not there because this is the web profile. There's no JMS, for example. Now, if we move to this other tab, this is a development version of GlassFish 3.1, which, as you can see, now also has a notion of clusters. And as a matter of fact, I've created one called JavaOne, which has two instances called Xwing 1 and 2. And you can start the cluster as a whole or stop it, obviously. The other thing, obviously, that you may want to do is go to the applications and deploy an application. And we want to deploy the application, say a Word file, which we have on disk, to a target. And that target is the cluster itself. So we don't have to deploy it to each and every single instance. And this is a web application. And then we can set its availability to enabled so that we have a session that is being preserved even if instances fail in the cluster. So if we go back to the application, the feature that actually lets you check out once you've bought a number of books, let me add a number of them, and click on checkout. Actually, I'm not going to click, but this feature is implemented as an OSGi service. And OSGi is the technology that enables GlassFish to be as modular as it is today. Actually, there's even an HK2 layer on top of this. But what we're doing here is calling that payment service to process the checkout, injecting this, and using an OSGi service qualifier, which says that this service is dynamic, and that if it's not there, after 10 seconds, I will time out. So this is a portable extension of CDI. So looking here at the console that OSGi provides us, we see that payment service bundle here that is in active state. So what I can do is stop that bundle, go back to the application, and click on checkout. And as you can see in the tab here, it's loading and nothing is happening, and we should see a timeout, and there it is. So now if we go back to the OSGi console, you can stop or start, I'm sorry, that bundle again, Go back to the application and click once more. And there we go. The service is being invoked. So we've seen that Java EE became a lot simpler, yet with more powerful features, with a web profile as a right-sized deployment platform for web applications. And we've also seen how GlassFish Open Source Edition version 3.1 will soon support full clustering, and how you can leverage the OSGi nature of the product to implement dynamic services. So go get GlassFish now and start developing Java E6 applications.